The autumn of 1541 is a season of triumph. King Henry VIII, a man entering the winter of his life, is on a grand progress to the north, a victory lap to celebrate the crushing of a recent rebellion. He is 50 years old, his body racked with pain from an ulcerous leg, his mind scarred by decades of betrayal and dynastic failure. But in his eyes, there is a light that has been absent for years, a light of pure, unadulterated happiness. At his side is his new queen, his fifth, a vivacious, beautiful teenager named Catherine Howard. She is his rose without a thorn, his very jewel of womanhood. After the political necessity of his marriage to the plain Anne of Cleves, this new union is a blazing romance. She makes him feel young again, powerful again, virile again. He showers her with jewels, with palaces, with a doting affection that borders on obsession. The court, for the first time in a long time, is a happy place. The king is in love. But while the king is away, a letter is delivered into the hands of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer. It is a letter that will tear the king's world apart. It contains the sworn testimony of a woman who knows the queen's secret past, a past of illicit meetings, of whispered promises, of a life before the crown that was anything but chaste. Cranmer is paralyzed with fear. To give the letter to the king is to destroy his happiness and risk his apocalyptic wrath. But to hide it is treason. On All Souls' Day, during Mass, he slips the letter into the king's hand. The fuse has been lit. In our history, the revelations that followed, of lovers both before and during her marriage, would lead the king from disbelief to heartbreak to a cold, murderous fury. His rose without a thorn would be exposed as a common trollop. Within months, she would be executed on Tower Green, a foolish girl who flew too close to the sun. Her great failure in the king's eyes was not just her infidelity, but that she had not even had time to give him what he craved most, a son. But history is a story of moments, of timing and biological chance. So let us ask the question that changes a scandal into an impossible crisis. What if the timing had been different? What if the scandal had been discovered just a few months later? What if, before the letter was ever written, Catherine Howard had given Henry a son? Let us rewind to the summer of 1541. The king's happiness is crowned with the one piece of news that matters above all else. His young queen is pregnant. The entire court holds its breath. The Howard family, led by Catherine's uncle, the powerful and ruthless Duke of Norfolk, are on the verge of total political domination. Their great rivals, the reformist faction led by the Seymours, can only watch and pray for a girl. But their prayers go unanswered. In the spring of 1542, after a swift and easy labor, Queen Catherine gives birth to a healthy, robust boy. Let us name him Thomas, in honor of his mighty great-uncle, Prince Thomas of Wales. The king is delirious with joy. He is 51 years old and he has a second son. The Tudor dynasty is not just secure, it is ironclad. He now has the heir, the 5-year-old Prince Edward, and the spare, the infant Prince Thomas. The curse has been well and truly broken. Catherine Howard is transformed. She is no longer just the king's pretty plaything. She is the mother of a Prince of Wales, a figure of immense political importance. She is showered with more lands, more titles. The Howard faction is triumphant. Their bloodline is now directly in the line of succession. They have won the great game. And it is at this moment of their absolute triumph, in the autumn of 1542, that Archbishop Cranmer receives the letter. The scandal breaks. Now, the situation is not just a personal betrayal, it is a constitutional crisis of the highest order. The revelations about Frances Derham and her premarital life are scandalous. The rumors of flirtations with Thomas Culpeper at court are treasonous. But the woman at the center of it all is not a disposable queen. She is the mother of the king's beloved new son. Imagine the dilemma facing King Henry. His heart is shattered. His pride is wounded beyond repair. His first instinct is the Tudor instinct, rage and the axe. But he cannot execute her. To behead the mother of Prince Thomas on charges of adultery and promiscuity would be to invite the one question he cannot afford to have asked. Is the prince his son? It would cast a shadow of bastardy over the spare heir, the very symbol of his renewed virility. It would destabilize the succession all over again, undoing the very security he craved. He is trapped. He cannot live with her. To share his bed with a woman who has so utterly humiliated him is impossible. But he cannot kill her. To do so would be to risk his new son's legitimacy. So, he does something unprecedented. Derham and Culpeper are brutally executed for their treason. They are the scapegoats. And then, a special act of Parliament is passed. Catherine Howard is found guilty. She is stripped of the title of queen, but her life is spared. She is banished from court, sent to live in a remote, comfortable, but heavily guarded castle. She is to be known as the Lady Catherine, the king's disgraced wife. She can never remarry. She is to have no contact with her son. She is a prisoner in a gilded cage, a living ghost at the heart of the Tudor court. Her family, the Howards, are disgraced but not destroyed. The Duke of Norfolk, a master political survivor, likely sacrifices his niece's reputation to save his own skin, professing his shock and horror. Their influence is severely curtailed, but they remain a powerful force, their ambition now focused entirely on the future of their young Prince Thomas. The king, heartbroken and publicly humiliated, retreats further into paranoia and ill health. He still marries his final wife, the calm and steady Catherine Parr. She becomes a nursemaid to a bitter, aging king and a stepmother to a court of motherless children. The Catholic Mary, the Protestant Elizabeth, the heir Prince Edward, and now the infant Prince Thomas, a boy whose mother is a disgraced non-person living in a distant castle. The court is a snake pit, a nest of competing factions, now with two young princes to fight over. The Seymours circle the heir, Edward. The Howards circle the spare, Thomas. In 1547, Henry VIII dies. His will confirms the line of succession. First, his son Edward. Then, if Edward has no heirs, his second son, Thomas. Then his daughter Mary. And finally, his daughter Elizabeth. He has not left a kingdom. He has left a battlefield. The reign of King Edward VI begins as it did in our history, under the control of his uncle, Edward Seymour, the Duke of Somerset. It is a radical Protestant regime. But now they have a massive problem. In the north, the great conservative and Catholic-leaning lords, led by the indomitable Duke of Norfolk, have a champion. They have a living, breathing, legitimate male alternative to the sickly boy king in London. They have Prince Thomas. The 9 years of Edward's reign are not just a time of religious upheaval, they are a cold war between two princes. The Seymours and their successor, the Duke of Northumberland, know that their entire Protestant project and their own lives depend on Edward surviving and having a son. The Howards and the Conservatives know that their path back to power and to the old faith lies with the robust and healthy Prince Thomas. Every time King Edward coughs, the Howards gain a little more confidence. This brings us to the year 1553, the great pivot point. King Edward is dying. In our history, the Duke of Northumberland made a desperate gamble to put Lady Jane Grey on the throne to block the Catholic Mary. But now there is another male heir. The moment Edward dies, the kingdom explodes. Northumberland, in London, declares Lady Jane Grey queen. But in the north, the Duke of Norfolk raises his banners and declares his grandnephew the rightful king, King Thomas I. And in the east, Princess Mary, a woman of unshakable will and immense popularity, declares herself the rightful queen, according to her father's will. England is plunged into a new, brutal three-way civil war, the War of the Three Claimants. It is a war of religion and dynasty. Northumberland's forces are the official state army, but his cause is unpopular. Mary's cause is popular with the common people who crave the old faith. But Thomas's cause is popular with the powerful northern lords who command the best soldiers in the kingdom, and he has the undeniable advantage of being male. The war is short and bloody. Northumberland's forces desert him. He is captured and executed. Now it is a straight fight, Mary versus Thomas, sister against half-brother. In a deeply patriarchal society, the odds are with the male claimant. The great lords of the realm, forced to choose, picked the path of least resistance, the path of a king, not a queen. After a few decisive battles, Mary's forces are defeated. She is captured and forced into a nunnery, her claim extinguished. In late 1553, the son of Catherine Howard is crowned King Thomas I of England. The Howard dynasty has begun. What kind of kingdom does he rule? He is his mother's son, perhaps, in his charm, but he is his great-uncle's creation in his politics. He is a Howard king. He has been raised by the conservative faction, men who despise the Protestant Reformation. His first act is to halt the religious changes and begin a slow, careful restoration of the Catholic faith. It is not the fanatical, bloody restoration of Mary's reign, but a pragmatic, political one. He needs to heal a divided kingdom. His greatest threat is the last remaining child of Henry VIII, the Princess Elizabeth. A popular Protestant with a legitimate claim to the throne, she is a magnet for every plotter and dissenter in the realm. For the safety of his new dynasty, she cannot be allowed to live and marry freely. King Thomas, a man who has waded through blood to get his crown, does what he must. Elizabeth is arrested on trumped-up charges of conspiracy, and like her mother, Anne Boleyn, she is executed in the Tower. The last spark of the Protestant royal line is extinguished. The reign of King Thomas I and his Howard dynasty is one of social and religious conservatism. England realigns itself with the great Catholic powers of Europe, particularly Spain. There is no Elizabethan Golden Age, no Shakespearean theater born from a new national confidence, no Sir Francis Drake circumnavigating the globe and plundering Spanish gold.
The great irony is that Henry VIII's desperate quest for a spare heir, when finally fulfilled by his rose without a thorn, did not bring the stability he craved. It brought the one thing he feared most, a return to the bloody dynastic civil wars of his youth. The son of his greatest love became the catalyst for his kingdom's greatest crisis. He got his spare son, but in doing so, he unleashed a war of brothers, killed the daughter who would have been a legend, and created a kingdom that was stable, Catholic, and a pale shadow of the magnificent, chaotic, and unpredictable world that was to come. If you enjoyed this journey into a history that never was, please like this video and subscribe for more trips down the paths not taken.